The style of the Michtavim Klali that the Rebbe wrote before Rosh Hashanah, before Pesach, and sometimes before Chanukah, and other times of the year, was that there was the Pnim, the letter itself, and then there was the Haaretz. And many words of the letter, the Rebbe would write Haaretz, Mara Mekaymes, where it comes from, and Haaretz. But many times later on, when these letters were printed, we find extra Haaretz called Hisof Elach Azman that was added later. Where did these Hisof Elach Azman come from? So many of them came that after the Rebbe wrote the letter, people would write into the Rebbe questions about something that he wrote in the letter, and the Rebbe would answer. So many times these answers were turned into Hisof Elach Azman. Mainly it was usually Rabbi Mentlik, who was one of the Rosh Yeshivas in 770. He would always give a shir on the letter, a public shir in 770, and then certain questions would come up. He would write the question to the Rebbe would answer, and that would become later a Sof Elach Hazman. This answer the Rebbe answered. But sometimes it came milmaila, that means from the Rebbe himself, that after the letter was written, by Fabrengen the Rebbe would talk about what's written in the letter, and sometimes he would give over to the Manichim that they should write up the teichen of what he spoke, and he was magia it, and then that turned into a Sof Elach Hazman. So I want to mention one example of such a thing, and that is the letter of Yud Aleph Nisan, Tovshin Lamed Beis. In that letter, the Rebbe writes that the Eibeshter is the Etzem HaTov, he's the essence of good. Teva HaTov L'Heitiv, the nature of something good or somewhat good is to do good. So it would make sense that the Eibeshter should give us everything we need without work. We shouldn't have to work for it. Then you have the best pleasure, it would seem, that you get everything very easily. But Lepel, the Pasuk says, Adam La'amal Yulad, person was created to work hard. And the Eibeshter wants to work for what we get. The question is why? And the Rebbe gives the answer, because the nature of a human being is that you really want to get things that you earned, that you worked for. If a person gets something for free, that's called Named Dikisufe. That's bread of shame. And people are actually embarrassed to take something that they didn't work for. And the Gemara says that a person would rather have a little bit of his own that he worked for and earned than a lot more that he got for free. And therefore, since the Eibeshter wants to give us the best, and since the nature of a person, when does he feel the best? When he earned it. So the Eibeshter said, I want you to work and you'll earn it. That's what the Rebbe writes in the letter. By Fabrengen, the Rebbe spoke about it, and the Rebbe said that L'chore, since this whole reason, the reason is because the nature of a person is that he doesn't like Named Dikisufe, something that he didn't work for. Who made that nature? The Eibeshter made that nature. So the Eibeshter could have made the nature differently, and therefore we wouldn't have to work for it, and it wouldn't be a problem. So what kind of answer is it that the Eibeshter makes us work because otherwise we don't feel the real pleasure with something that we don't really feel we deserved? Who cares? The Eibeshter would have made a different nature, it would have been the same. And the Rebbe answered by Fabrengen, there's a deeper reason why the Eibeshter wants us to work. Because the Eibeshter wants that Kiviyochel, a Yid, should become similar to the Eibeshter, similar to the Beirat. The Eibeshter is a creator. A human being is a Nivra, is a creature, was created. And a creature, a Nivra, whatever he has, is Mekabel from the Eibeshter. No one has anything of his own. But the Eibeshter wants us to be Kiviyochel, similar to him. We should also Kiviyochel be a creator, so to speak. That's the highest madrega a person could reach, is to be close, similar to the Eibeshter. So the Eibeshter said, if you work for it, that means you got it, so you work for it, so you created something, so you're similar to me. That's the reason why the Eibeshter wants us to work. And that's what the Rebbe said by the Fabrengen. After the Fabrengen of Yud Aleph Nisan, when the Rebbe spoke about this, the Rebbe gave over to the Chassidim that he wants this Nekuda of the Fabrengen to be written up, and he will be magiyet, and it should be added as a hisofa to the letter. And the takit was written up, given into the Rebbe. The Rebbe was magiyet, and then it became as a hisofa to the letter. That on this ha'ore, where it says in the letter, quotes the Maimar Chazal, Odom reitz bekav shalei mitisha kapen shel chaverei, that a person would rather have a little bit of his own that he worked for than a lot, than 9 times as much that he got from somebody else that he didn't work for. On that, now there's a star, and there's whole biur, that the reason is because Hashem wants us to become not just a Makabel, but also close, similar kiviyachol, so to speak, like the Eibishter, is a ha'ara to that ha'ara. And this letter is in this, and this ha'ara is printed in the Haggadah of the Rebbe, like all the other Michtavim Klolim for Pesach. And in the last Teitzoeh, the letter is printed on the page Tov Reish Mem Aleph, and this a Sofer Lachar Zman is on page Tov Reish Mem Beis.